Hello all, I'm Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge, and today we have a special St. Patrick's Day edition of our weekly research breakdown. I know you guys have a lot of stuff going on. You've got to go out there in the community, screen, health talks, or just maybe enjoy your St. Patrick's Day, so we can keep it nice and quick. We're going to be going over 3 different topics today. We're going to be going over the research, the statistics behind chiropractic and absenteeism, basically employer-employee relationships and how implementing chiropractic into those can or cannot be beneficial. 2, epigenetics, because you asked and we answered. And then 3 is going to be the risk factors between low back pain. And the reason is because this week I was asked by somebody, is low back pain hereditary because my mom has it, my grandparents have it, are my kids going to have it? And we're going to kind of break down those different topics with some recent research. The first thing that we're going to look at is a study from the Journal of Chiropractic Medicine called On-Site Chiropractic Care as an Employee Benefit, a Single Location Study. Basically, this is looking at employee benefits of having chiropractic implemented into a workspace. It's a law office it's a case study from a law office in Georgia. I think it's Sandy Springs, Georgia, that actually went ahead and they incorporated chiropractic wellness care once a week into their office. So when we talk about, so many of us talk about better adaptation to stress when we go do corporate lunch and learns. We tell people that their employees are going to be more productive. We tell people they're going to have increased productivity. We tell them they're going to have decreased sick days, right? But does the data actually support that? And this is a really good example. In the 3 years since this law office incorporated chiropractic wellness care as a benefit for their employees, in these 3 years since they did this, what they found was that their employees had 50% of the sick days taken as a national average. 50%, right? That's double the productivity, double the days that their employees are in work. And what they go ahead and they attribute to in this case study is the fact that they have chiropractic care on premises. So I'm not saying you need to go move your office to a chiropractic or to a law office or to a hospital or to wherever, right? And you don't have to move your office to where there are employees. But what you should know is that when you go out there and you reach out to business owners in your community, when you do your corporate lunch and learns, when you do whatever it is, know that there is data that supports for them to even have you in, for the HR department to have you in the first place. The fact that bringing in chiropractic to the office and whether they pay for it or not is going to be beneficial. This was by Dr. Minakazi as well as Dr. Russell. Like I said, it's called On-Site Chiropractic Care as an Employee Benefit, a Single Location Study. I'm going to go ahead. That's about all the information I think you guys need to know about. And next is going to be one of my favorite articles ever written on the topic of epigenetics. It's from a huge inspiration to me, Dr. Christopher Kent. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. I'm going to post the link to it in the comments here, but it's from Dynamic Chiropractic, and it's from Dr. Christopher Kent, and it talks about legacy and lifestyle, epigenetics, and the potential for chiropractic. Basically, the whole reason that I'm fired up about chiropractic in general is because of this man, Dr. Christopher Kent. The reason I'm excited about research is because I've followed On Purpose not necessarily since before I was a student. I started looking at it while I was a student, but I went back and listened to all the On Purposes since 1999 because the Life University Library had it, and that just keeps me fired up. It's a huge driving force for me. So Dr. Kent, Dr. Jen Tempo, thanks that you guys have all done for me personally, as well as thank you for so much of your contribution to our profession. But in this article, Dr. Kent talks about epigenetics. Now, in the 1953, I believe it was, Watson and Crick found or discovered the double helix model of DNA. And from that point, we basically had this thought process that was DNA is the blueprint, right? So we had this big nature, this is a blueprint, whatever our parents have, we're going to be predestined to. All right, then you go ahead and you have the nature-nurture debate that came in with so much of psychology as we came up from 1953. And now the question is, well, what is it? Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it really 50-50? Oh, is there something where these two can actually meld? Out arises from that the concept of epigenetics, that yes, genetics, genes, they're there, right? We have them. But there's a process known as epigenetics in which those genes can be turned on and turned off. And that process is highly regulated, not only by adapting to stress in the body, but it's highly regulated by the lifestyle factors that we have. Bruce Lipton, PhD, who wrote The Biology of Belief, which is an amazing book, says that it is now recognized that the environment, and more specifically, our perception or interpretation of the environment, directly controls the activity of our genes. The environment controls genes activity through a process known as epigenetic control. So what is that saying? We hear so often that chiropractic, right, by allowing the nervous system to function better, it is going to allow us to be better able to adapt to physical, chemical, and emotional stress. So if the process of adapting to stresses is what influences epigenetic control, then by definition, chiropractic is going to go ahead and influence epigenetics, right? What we go ahead and look at as well is there's research that says the concept of lifestyle, which influences epigenetics, includes nutrition, behavior, stress, physical activity, working habits, smoking, and alcohol consumption. All these things play a role in epigenetic control, right? Behavior, stress, and physical activity, three things that we specifically look at with chiropractic care, with neurologically based chiropractic care. If you look at the closing remarks from Dr. Kent in this article, what he says is we now know that there are two ways that the correction of vertebral subluxation may affect genetic mechanisms. Number one is that chiropractic care can influence basic physiological processes that affect oxidative stress and DNA repair, and the correction of vertebral subluxations may change a person's perception of the environment and facilitate constructive, appropriate responses to environmental change. We cannot put our patients in a bubble, right? No matter what, and that's not fun anyway. We can't put patients in a bubble and say, hey, we're just going to avoid. You're not going to have physical stress. You're not going to have chemical stress. You're not going to have emotional stress, right? I live in New Jersey. So if I get anywhere, I have to drive on the turnpike. Now, if you've ever driven on the Jersey Turnpike, you're going to get chemical stress, right? You can smell it right in the air. Sorry, I love New Jersey. Just have to dig, a little bit of self-deprecating humor there. The bottom line is we can't put ourselves in a bubble, but if we can get our body to better be able to adapt to stress, right, we can actually improve not only our lives, but the lives of generations to come. Research that we actually talked about in ChiroEdge a couple months ago looks at epigenetic control of Ashkani Jews. And what they actually found was that the same epigenetic markers that were actually activated in survivors of the Holocaust, right, were actually found as remained activated in the grandkids. Things that result to anxiety and stress, inability to adapt to stress. Because of this hugely traumatic event that their grandparents experienced, literally the grandchildren saw the changes in that, right? They saw changes in the expression of their life, the perception of their environment because of these changes, right? Because of the stress that their grandparents received. So that being said, every decision that we make today, every decision that we help lead our patients or our practice members to making today, tomorrow, this week, is going to not only affect them, it's going to affect their unborn children, their unborn grandchildren. That's pretty powerful stuff, right? That's awesome. Last paper I want to look at is behavior-related factors associated with low back pain in the U.S. adult population. I had a new practice member of mine today be really confused, or not today, sorry, earlier this week, be really confused because she had seen so much change in her low back pain already. She had no idea. She said, I really thought this was hereditary. I thought this was hereditary because my grandparents had it, my mom has, my dad has, my uncle, but all of us have this low back pain. Right? I thought maybe I was going to see an improvement. I didn't think I was going to see this much. How is that possible if this is hereditary? Right? Same thing with the NatureNurture debate. Same thing with the epigenetics that we just talked about. Well, research out of the University of California, which included a PhD, Dr. Yang, as well as Dr. Haldeman, who is a DC MD PhD, which I was pretty excited to see a DC on this paper, looked at the different factors that play a role in development of low back pain. There's a couple of different things that I wanted to point out from the study with you guys. What they were looking at was basically long-term what factors contributed to low back pain. So they say low back pain is the leading cause of disability worldwide. It contributes to 10.7% of the years lived with disability and is the sixth most important contributor to the global burden of disease. Treatment of low back pain in the U.S. is as high as $90.7 billion yearly. Wow. So it's the leading cause of disability worldwide. Well, Unfortunately, many people associate chiropractic with only low back pain, but we'll take wins when we can take it. From there, what they looked at is different factors such as leisure time physical activity, which obviously, if you're more physically active, chances are that you're going to have less low back pain. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But they also looked at alcohol consumption, tobacco use, sleep duration, and obesity. They looked at this over long term. They looked at it in different categories of people. What they found was that about 25% of individuals in the U.S. have low back pain. But what they found was they found higher rates, obviously, in people with low back pain who were less active, which I'm sure we could guess, right? But they also found it higher rates in people who smoke, higher rates of low back pain in people who drink alcohol, higher rates of low back pain in people who get less sleep, and higher rates of low back pain in people who are obese. So basically, doesn't matter if it's hereditary, right? The health choices, once again, the health choices that we make today influences not only our lives, right, but the lives of generations to come. So hope that brought you guys a little bit of certainty here this week, understanding about the power of chiropractic, what the changes that we can make every time we give an adjustment. It's not just about today. It's about tomorrow. It's about years to come, generations to come. I'm Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge. We're going to go ahead. We're going to have some memes up for you guys to share with your practice. If you guys want to have some custom branded material to your practice, please check out chiroedgemedia.com. We have a 2-week free trial where you can get on board there. Dr. Anthony Pellegrino, looking forward to continue bringing you guys certainty in our research breakdown every single week. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your St. Patrick's Day.